Welcome back, everybody. My name is Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Where we left off last time, we invaded the Temple of Wadaka, we learned some things, and now we are at the Sanitarium again. Because it was part of our quest. We had talked to some prisoner by choice. I'm guessing it's not Verna, or the nobles. It might be that statue again, possibly? We'll take a quick look around first, though. There's a downstairs, so maybe we'll go down there into the sanitarium proper, since we didn't do that last time. And we'll see if we can find this crazy person who is apparently in the sanitarium by choice, which is odd. I've heard this is actually a really creepy game called Sanitarium. I never played it, but sanitariums are kind of creepy. This girl's name is Belisej.
Greetings.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Ekozi, here I am looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith standing in front of me. What can I do? What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of Animancy's greatest successes, and I am working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. She nods at her lip. But the truth is, I find few suitable subjects here. Waidwin's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. She sighs. I fear I will return to Revua with nothing to show for my efforts. I'm awakened. I've been recalling flashes of a past life. She scratches her chin. Most interesting. But not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. She gives you a broad, strange smile. But I thank you for the offer. Something else you need? I'd like to know more about animancy in the Valian Republics. It is a dynamic and respected field. Even the Bale Reach incident did little to slow it. She shrugs. People in the Republics are more accepting of risk, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. It's a shame that so many here are hostile towards animancy. It is. But it is the way of the Deerwood. The people here are fierce about their sovereignty, but they are not so independent from their Adiran brothers and their Glenfathan neighbors as they would like to think. They rely too much on the mysterious workings of the gods, and fear the very advances they need. Okay. Thank you, Belisej. Why do you have a cage in your room? That's slightly disconcerting. Hello? An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Greetings.
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. What are you working on? My area is the focus of wights. More specifically, how to cure them. What's a wight? A hollowborn who has received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. What is a wight? Oh, I already did that. Transplanting animal souls into children seems like an odd solution. We Animancers are trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. He stares at a fixed point on the far wall, and despite the controversy, it only went so far because at first it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistake, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside often as not. Grieving mother recoils. A grotesque manipulation, a desperate solution for a desperate problem, and the parents were heartbroken, betrayed. She closes her eyes and seems to recede from you for a moment. But it was important to try something, was it not? To bring hope, even for a little while. She falls silent. People took to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it. But we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. Why do you study wights? He huffs. What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face reddened and he turned away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer here. I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. Grieving Mother reaches out, as if to put a hand on Modred's cheek. Such pain, Watcher. And such determination. I see. Good. He looks eager to return to his work. I'm just looking around. Then be quick about it and don't touch anything. The sanitarium has lax visitor policy, but I don't. Without another word, he resumes his work. Excuse me, I'm just gonna grab a drink of water. Water that's become mostly... Actually, it's Coke, but it's become mostly water. There are 2 locked doors and a 3rd unlocked one here. I'm guessing that if we open one of the locked doors, we'll get in trouble. But let's talk to the guards. Maybe we can convince them to let us pass. Okay, so we're not allowed in there. Need a key. Need a key. Alright, we need a key. Back upstairs we go. We need to find somebody with a key to this place. Alrighty. Who is around that has a name? We're only interested in named people. Also, possibly this book. Ah, perfect. Stolen without concern. Maybe the person with the name is in here. Eltimar. Yes, we talked to him before, I believe.
Greetings.
A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his discussion. Have you come to sit in? What is it you do here? Close as we are to the Glenfathan Wilds, we get a number of biowac maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it once was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects. Good.
Greetings.
I'd like to know more about it. It's a mission that attracted me here. The treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and the dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that a duke could put an end to it with a single order keeps me up at nights. I need a key. Maybe the statue will give me a key.
Hello.
Hey. Ah, the Watcher. What brings you here? You may have a member of the leaden key in your midst. Ethelmar groans, and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the leaden key as well, I take it. They are up to something, and I am determined to find out what. They are always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea who this might be? I won't know until I've met them. Very well, in that case I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in their offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. That is my only request. Alrighty, let's go talk to some animancers. Number 1, you.
Hail and well met.
Well, that's not super helpful. We already know what he does, apparently. Noble Animancer. Let's talk to this dude. Is he just a normal... generic Animancer. Are you generic Animancer too? Yes. And 3, and 4, and 5. I'm not going to read you those things. They're not super important. So we're going back downstairs to see if we can find the individual in question. I'm gonna guess it's probably this guy. He just seems like the
Hail
most...
and well met.
We already did all this. Alright. Alright, here we go. Here. Has anything unusual been happening around here? You must be joking. This is a sanitarium. Nothing is usual down here. Although, now that I think about it, the patients seem more agitated lately, but they're Caedmon Azul's responsibility, not mine. Mordred nods, taking a deep breath. If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. Let's go talk to another one. Maybe we have to go back upstairs and talk to that first guy again. Go through all of his conversation options. Alright, she has nothing new to say. There's nothing in here, right? Oh, there's an open door now. Who's Ripley?
Gods keep you.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the Sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He would know more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out of the patient ward. Is Azo busy with the patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. How do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azo has access. I guess Head Warden Eltimar does too, but he's, a statue now. Well, I can't loot the room with you in it. Go away. Get the book that you need and leave. Fine, I'll come back. You better not be in the room so I can loot it. Oh, also, I think Aloth wants to talk to us. So let's actually do that really quickly. Alright, Aloth, go.
My episode in the Catacombs. There's something I should have told you earlier.
I'm going to cross my arms and wait stoically. He clasped his hands together, slowly massaging a knuckle with his thumb. I meant no harm. I thought I could keep it to myself, that when we resolved the matter of your soul, we would also address my problem.
I also have an awakened soul. But unlike yours, mine is a presence that shares my senses and my skin, making herself manifest at the most unwelcome times.
That's good to know now. He closes his eyes and grits his teeth. His lips quiver and twitch with the vestiges of some internal debate. Several seconds later, he opens his eyes again. They're watery and bloodshot.
I'm sorry. I've tried to learn to control Eltimar. I've gotten stronger, but so has she.
Tell me about Eltimar.
Artless, uncouth, a creature of rash impulses and feeble faculties. She wags her impertinent tongue when she should listen.
He winces, his expression rippling between control and chaos.
Aye, this one's fit to boil. Hard to get this gaff over anything tisn't to do with books and spell speak.
His face flickers with a sly grin. He grimaces, running his hands through his hair. I have none of her memories. Brass spared me that much, but her coarse manners and intolerable hill speak suggest a provincial from a very, very long time ago. She tends to surface a hair's breadth from conflict when the fuse is burned down and teeth are on edge, and when she shows up, she doesn't stop to gauge a situation, she just acts. She seems reckless. That's it exactly. You recall the way she goaded those villagers in Gilded Vale? She doesn't think, she doesn't back down, and trying to suppress that has been my problem for years. Why didn't you say something sooner?
I learned to keep her a secret a very long time ago. Those with awakened souls are shunned, mistrusted. And after your experience with Meowald, I'm certain you can see why. You need to be careful.
Is this going to be a problem?
Merely an annoyance. Although...
He purses his lips into a thin, crooked line. He lowers his voice and clasps his hands behind his back. Minute twitches and spasms along his arms betray his fidgeting.
Defiance Bay is said to have an entire institution dedicated to the study and cure of soul-related ailments. Since our journeys have already brought us to the city, perhaps we could speak with someone there.
We are literally there right now. Alright, we'll see. We can't make any promises.
I understand.
Time to get moving. Find an expert on awakenings. Somewhere here. Literally, right here in the building we're in. That's okay. We'll talk around, see if we can find some help for Aloth. But first, let's go talk to the statue. And then we'll go talk to this guy. Because he seems to be the expert on awakenings. Sort of.
Gods keep you.
Have you learned anything of interest? Maybe. Is Caedmon Azo running experiments on the patients here? Experiments? Caedmon Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He is not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Caedmon. I hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I am granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak with him further on the matter. I, for one, am curious to see what he might say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Does anyone here know anything about awakenings? There's an Animenser on the lower floor who came all the way from Ravua to study them. Take the stairs down and look for Belisage. Oh, look, it says Belisage. We'll go talk to Belisage about Aloth, and then we'll go find Azo. Sounds like an evil name. Azo. Azo. Alright, let's go talk about awakenings to Belisage, who also sounds evil, by the way. Probably because it's very close to Bellatrix Lestrange, who is evil. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings, she laughs bitterly. Ah, that would be me. Though the lack of research subjects has made me more of an expert in counting floorboards. I would like to transfer Animancy's success in buttressing pre-awakened souls to soothing those whose souls have already awakened, but I need subjects, and most of the patients here are too broken to produce viable results. It is a tragedy to have come so far for nothing. You're in luck, I have a volunteer. She springs to the balls of her feet, beaming. Gallard, who is it? Alas, lips curl into a frown. I don't know about this. She grins more broadly. Still, don't be silly. The process is perfectly harmless. All you must do is stand in that cage. I beg your pardon? I jest. You Adirans are so uptight. I do not even know what that thing is used for. It belonged to the last occupant of this office, I think. Now they upgrade him to a cell. Again, I jest. She rubs her hands together, getting down to business. So I need you to sit here. She takes Aloth by the shoulders and steers him to the couch. And try to relax, but don't try too hard. Then you will not be relaxing. Indeed, his eyes are humorless. And then you must also wear these. A little cold, but the copper will help conduct your essence. The Animancer fastens thick copper bands to Aloth's forehead and wrists. As she ratchets them tighter, his face twitches with suppressed irritation. Now, I will examine your soul through my scope. She reaches into her desk and produces a long-chambered tube, knobs, dials, and small-toothed wheels rung along the side of the device. It is fitted with Adra lenses to cut different thicknesses and concavities. By manipulating them, I find the angles and densities that will allow me to track the anomalies in your soul. How exciting! I've never seen this sort of thing performed. Kana peers at the device with interest. It seems suitably complicated. Does this mean we'll get to talk to Eltimar more? I like that lady. His mind is full of hesitations, angles upon angles. Drawing him out of his own fears will be difficult. She raises a finger, but first we must find this cunning interloper. You will answer some personal questions while I make adjustments. Aloth squirms on the couch. Very well. He's not on the couch, he's right there. She holds the scope to her eye and flicks a knob. To begin, tell me something personal, something from a time before your awakening. There's nothing to tell. I was just a normal child living in the Scythewood. Or Scythewood. He looks to you. His face is set in a frown, but the rigid edges of apprehension show through nevertheless. Talk about your parents. As you speak to Aloth, you feel your voice like a bell in your chest. It toils softly, luring him into the mists of his own memory. Belisage doesn't seem to notice anything, but you feel as if your words are smoothing his essence, untangling its many threads. He closes his eyes. Mother is away most of the time, with the Thane's family, but I always know when she is coming home. Father's bottles accumulate like storm clouds on the horizon. His fits of temper become swifter and more violent. It still shames him, knowing that her hermeneg to another man supports us better than his labors as a steward. This is good. I'm starting to see something. Continue. Tell us about the time you awakened. She bites her tongue as she twists one of the dials. I'm in the 5th year of training. Mother is home. I can let my guard down a little because when she is around, he is usually only angry with her. But he has heard that I have had trouble casting missiles, that my flame shields are unstable. He is furious that I have failed, and Mother's presence reminds him that he has failed too. The first blow takes me by surprise. One moment I am sweeping the kitchen, the next I am sprawled on the ground, stupidly looking at the flecks of my blood on the tile. His boots, glistening with fresh polish, thud across the floor. He kicks me in the stomach, and I curl up to shield my vitals, but it's pointless. Protecting one thing only leaves something else exposed. Still huddled on the ground, I retreat as fast as I can. I retreat until the vision of the kitchen and my own trembling knees is nothing but a pinprick against a field of black. His jaw locks and his eyes twitch beneath their lids. Madiko! Belisage furiously cranks the knob's longer scope. He's hypnotized himself with his old memory. You gotta bring him out of it, quickly. I almost have it. I'm gonna slap Aloth. Your flattened palm is inches from his cheek when his hand shoots up and grabs your wrist. Aloth's eyes snap open, but the expression you see in them isn't his. Try it again, and I'll take it off before I give it back to you. Hey, there she is. How you been, Eltimar? Belisage sucks a deep breath through her teeth. That's it! I'm seeing a shift in his essence, something spreading and congealing. She glances over it at you over her scope. Keep talking. He seems to respond to you. What brought you here? cracking bones and voices high in ire, that warm molasses feeling that grips down your gusts when the crisis is nigh. Belfetto, we have flares of totally distinct essence. She jots shorthand notes onto the pages next to her and turns one clicking knob of her scope. Now try to get the two of them talking. Islamir, tell Aloth why you've awakened. Fie, he's the one needing me hiding in his own bone bag like a turtle in a shell. Aloth's face twisted in fury. I never turned it over to you. Good, yes, very good. She rests from her scribbling, only to make another adjustment to her scope. I can now see two separate patterns of essence. Where he ebbs, the other flows. It's as if the awakened soul fills the spaces he leaves empty. She prompts you with a circling of her wrists. Quill is still in hand. Go on. Islamir, what exactly are you taking from him? Nigh more than I'm giving. You should ask him what I did to that old man of his, how the last time he laid hand on us I break it in 3 places. Aloth's head jerks to the side. That wasn't your decision. It's never been your decision. Nigh was awakening. But now I'm stuck with you, and damned if let your ninnying drag us both through the scooper. Ah, very good. She lowers her scope and consults her notes. I think I finally got something we can work with. I tracked Islamir's essence throughout the exchange. She has a particularly high density index during the most heated portions of their argument, and her essence seemed to localize most clearly in the lower portion of the subject's left ribcage. That's right around the spleen, which of course means that she is triggered by black bile. No doubt the subject's characteristic melancholy is to blame. Aloth blinks back at you, and in the midst of his perturbation, you're not quite sure who's looking out of his eyes. That's utter horse shit. Black bile, is it? They've certainly spat their share. Candace studies Aloth dubiously. It is a simpler explanation than I expected, all things considered. She glares at him. Yes. Never mind my years of training. I suppose you have a better explanation? Islamir manifests when Aloth is in danger or under pressure. Belisage carefully scratches her jaw, her gaze darting between you and Aloth. I suppose that could be true. She jots another note. I'll have to check this against other research. He removes the copper bands. Well, and good for you, but what does this mean for me? Belisage frowns at her notes, tapping her cheek with the quill and making a grand show of concentration. However, you catch her stealing a glance at you over the pages. She did you a favor by dealing with your father, didn't she? I think she's trying to help you stand up for yourself. You may not like her methods, but you should hear her out. If you had to listen to her half as much as I do, you wouldn't say that, he scowls, but you notice something thoughtful in his frown. I've got a lot to process. Regardless, thank you for your help, Eltimar. He does not look at Belisage. She sets her notes down on her desk and returns to her scope. Well, I hope this has been useful to you as it has been to me. I finally have material worth publishing. You'll be the toast of Revua. Fenthra Aloth. His grimace melts into a crooked smile. Aye, advancing the right-wise principles of animancy. Just what you've always wanted. As you turn to leave, you catch a darting movement out of the corner of your eye. Belisage is humming to herself, still occupied with her scope, but Aloth is holding her notes. He's just about to tuck them into his cloak when he catches you watching. He holds a finger to his lips, his eyes wide and imploring. Please, I don't want my personal information getting published like this, especially not after her nonsense. Fair enough, but do it quickly. He hides the papers in his cloak. Not to worry. We'll see to this on our own. Alright. Well, that was interesting and eye-opening. Are you still in here, person? Damn it. Alright, into the patient place. What the hell is that thing? Well, let's go loot some stuff. It's milk. I don't think we need milk. And you shouldn't keep milk in barrels. There are a lot of flesh constructs around. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Are they talkable? Do they say anything? The construct turns its head towards you and watches warily. It's a lot of flesh constructs. So those lockpicks. Can I take them? Let's quick save first. Ah, yes, good. They don't care if I take their stuff. This is kind of a sketchy looking place. Ah, yes, lootable rooms.
They shall see nothing while I see much.
Some gold and a book. And some gold and a scroll. I'm all about the looting of things. Getting free gold. That door is unopenable. There's a barrel there we don't have yet. Flesh construct. Oh, that was the milk, right? That's why we're not going there. There's a locked door. Needs a key. Hello? Nobody in that cell. Patient. We're not supposed to rouse the patients, I guess. Patient. Patient. Another room here, it looks like.
A simple test.
Ravenwing, a one-handed mace with damage reduction, coordinating, and damaging 3. That sounds probably better than what we're using. Let's take a quick look at it comparatively. So it does 3 damage reduction bypass, plus 4 accuracy when attacking the same target as an ally, and 1.25 times damage when attacking the same target as an ally, and 1.4 times damage. I think it's considerably better than the one we're currently using, actually. We'll swap it out like this. That's a cool looking mace, though. There we go, our paladin now has a suitable weapon. I wonder if he'll get mad if we take whatever's in here, too.
Test.
Nope. And what was that? Blade Golem. Breakout, Preservation, and Fine light armor. So it does plus 20 defense while stunned, less stunned and knockdown duration, and plus 2 damage reduction. Is that better than Aloth's current robes? Probably. Where am I putting this so I can actually do this properly? There we go. So his robes are negative 15. Negative 25 is a little bit worse. But I think they're considerably better than his robes. But is it worth it? Is this a melee weapon? Yes, I think it's a melee. I was hoping scepters would be a long range. Maybe they are. We'll try it out in a bit. I'm not sure about that armor yet, though. I'm going to quick save before talking to Caedmon Azo, because I think that this might go poorly. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip and is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth while he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Eltimar told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Eltimar hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Red Seras, who would know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Our leaders guide us, and without them we risk losing our way. If this man would strike off on his own, then let him fend for himself without the benefit of the Sanitarium. You toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Raed Seris? Are you Caedmon himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Caedmon's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it. Now that Eltimar is involved, I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understand their sacrifices would mean something. I need to know if you've seen any unusual behavior out of your patients. You're going to get a lot of looks, asking questions like that in a sanitarium for the unbalanced. In truth, I have spent little time treating them since I have been reduced in my capacities. You might have luck with some of our more functional patients. They tend to congregate in the main area just past the entrance to the patients' wards. I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? As those nostrils flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly, that's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oddmere, that smug weasel? Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor, as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I don't have the time to give you directions. Go bother somebody else. I'm going to go interview patients now. but it's going to be in the next video because we are at half an hour. Like always, if you guys have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.